Alright guys, had a lot of success with getting everything set up with Acorn on my lathe. I appreciate everybody's help. Got a couple other little hurdles we need to cross here. This is the back side of this thing. Let's see if I can just set this light in here just to get some general light. There's the encoder that we sorted out with everybody's help. It's all belted 1-to-1, little tooth belt. And it has this air-operated style collet closer, and I have some tape on here to keep these little fingers from slinging out under centrifugal force. I didn't want to break anything without a drawbar in it, and collet, and tooling, and work in it, and that type of thing. So I've just wrapped a little duct tape around it just to keep them in. Probably wouldn't have hurt anything, but made me feel better. What the video is about is this thing has this tooth belt, big wide cog belt. It's probably at least 2 inches wide. Of course, the motor's down here. You know, you guys see the motor. It's got the cog belt on it. It's, you know, just like the spindle does. All that's fine and dandy, but the thing is noisy. And I don't really care for that. I've got a buddy that has got a machine shop full of Mazaks, and you know, Mazaks are probably on the higher end of CNC equipment, and he has a little turn 8 that he allows me to use to make parts. Well, and when I get this one done, I won't be needing that little machine. It's all set up on a collet closer, and you know, its whole purpose is just to run 16C collets. He's got two other machines. But back to the point about the belt, that machine is driven with V-belts. Got 2 small V-belts. This machine here is 3 horsepower. I really don't see the need for a cog belt, but I wouldn't change it either. But it's noisy, and I don't think I can live with the noise. Now I've got the jog pendant all set up. I got the spindle and the manual. And this thing, by the way, is the cat's meow. If you don't have one of these, buy the pro license. Spend $140. Spend the $215 for this. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. This is probably the best thing I ever done. It is so handy. It's unbelievable. I don't know how I would get by without it, to be honest with you. I wish my other machines had something like this. Anyway, we're gonna turn this belt up. I'm gonna creep it up a little bit. That's 200 or 300 RPM right there. You can hear a little squeak, you know, squeak, 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 and that's cool. That's okay. We can listen to that. But as we get faster and faster, you start to hear a whine. That's not too bad. I don't know what the RPM is. It's not being displayed on the pendant, but it is on the screen. But we're not going to go and check that out. But we're just going to ramp it up. Now the max spindle speed is set to 3,000 on this machine. When you get up above 1,000, this thing gets to whining pretty bad. I'm seriously considering pulling these cog pulleys off of it. The one on the motor would be a pretty easy swap out. It's a Martin brand with a tapered sleeve, 28mm shaft. I can probably just keep the inner sleeve and buy a V-belt pulley and go that route. Buy, I don't know, like a B series belt, like a 1/2 inch or a 5/8 wide belt, whichever that is, a single belt, and then probably pull that pulley off the top here. It's got a snap ring in the back. I'm going to stop it here. You can see that snap ring. Slide that thing off, and then just turn all the cog stuff off of it and turn it into some sort of sleeve where I can adapt it to a pulley and be done with it. But I want your opinion. You know, if one of you guys have a lathe with a cog belt and you've had noise and you fixed it, or you have one with a cog belt that don't have any noise. I don't want to change it unless I have to, but I'm not going to live with the noise, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time trying to sort this out. I'll put a V-belt on it. The V-belt's going to be just fine. You know, my buddy's got a Mazak that's a real, considered a high-end machine, way better than this one, and it runs on V-belts. These other two lathes are direct drive. The spindle is kind of built into the motor, but that little turn 8 has V-belts on it. I don't see 3 horsepower challenging a 5/8 wide belt. I've got a Skag lawnmower that's 25 horsepower that pulls 3 blades, and if you run into a dirt pile large enough, it will kill the motor. So, you know, the whole, oh, well, your V-belt's going to slip business, I'm not buying into that. And I don't care if there's belt creep between the motor and the spindle, because the spindle is you know, is directly monitored by an encoder. So even if the commanded RPM versus what you're getting out of the spindle is off a little bit, you know, you've got something there tracking it. So when we go into threading and rigid tapping and all that, if this thing works like it should, this RPM is all that matters. The spindle RPM is what really matters. So it's not a cog belt versus a V belt, which one's better. They'll both do the job. You know, it's like squirrel hunting. You can kill them with a 22 rifle, or you can shoot them with a 50 cal. I don't want to tote a 50 cal to squirrel hunt with. I can do it with a 22, and I think a V belt will do the same thing. Anyway, that's my gun analogy. Guys, got any suggestions? You know, let me know. I'll fix this setup if it's easy enough to fix. I've tried, you know, I've looked at the adjustment to run out and that type thing. The pulleys have guides on them, top and bottom. I put straight edges on them. They look like they're running pretty true. The belt's not trying to walk one way or the other real bad. You know, you turn it real slow and everything. It doesn't look like it's not happy. I don't know whether the pitch in the belt is not just right for the pulley because it's the Chinese belt, the Chinese pulley, or exactly what's going on. But, you know, from working on cars for years and years, a lot of most all overhead cam cars have timing belts, and they don't make any noise. You can take a Honda Accord with a little 4-cylinder in it, or a Toyota Camry, or Nissan, or whatever, and those things, you don't even know they're running hardly. So the whole timing belt thing shouldn't make any noise, at least from my experience. This video is getting lengthy. I don't even know if I can load this from my phone to YouTube yet. I might have to go find a cable, some cable internet. My ATT Uverse may not even let me load this. Anyway, I'm out of here, and thanks again everybody for all your help to this point on this acorn conversion for this lathe. You guys have been awesome.